So breaking down the various concepts. So Krishna starts speaking the actual philosophy from 2.11, and every verse is different to the other. That goes with the whole Bhagavad Gita. So please do not assume the understanding or the meaning of a different verse with another one. Every verse is unique. And now, since Krishna starts speaking from 2.11 onwards, you will find the message is similar, but it is not identical. So there is a difference in every verse. There's a difference in every verse. And we have to try and understand that difference and analyze the understanding very clearly. What is Krishna trying to say? If we do not understand the proper meaning and the difference between verses, we will not be able to implement those verses in our life. It will be just a bookish knowledge that yes, okay, it is like that. All right. But to actually practice it at some point in your life, you need to be crystal clear on what Krishna is saying. And Arjun straight away understands what Krishna is saying. So we have to also try and understand what Krishna is saying, exactly what he says. No assumptions. You know what is assume, right? If you break down assume, it is making ass out of you and me. So do not assume. Sorry to use this word, but that's the best way you understand. So never assume that, okay, it is said. Try to find out from the Vedic scriptures, from the Vedic injunctions as to what is that verse, what does it mean, and where is the reference. Only then you'll be able to grasp and apply that in your life or in any situation in your life. Does it make sense? So 2.11, what is the message from Krishna to Arjun? Anyone?
Yeah, in 2.11, as Krishna starts speaking, he's basically saying that Arjun, you're lamenting or mourning for something which is not worthy of mourning, and most important thing, the wise man like you should. It's pity that wise men like you are falling back to these kind of uh, talks, though you are a very learned and knowledgeable person.
So what is the message from Krishna to Arjun in one single line?
Don't
Don't mourn for something which is not worthy of mourning, or don't lament for anything
Very good.
which is not
Yes, Rishi, you were
worthy.
saying something?
just on the similar words, don't lament for the body, either it is living or dead.
Very nice. So do not lament for the living or the dead. Nanu shochanti pandita. So the pandita is a wise person, does not lament on what? Gatasun agatasunshcha. So gatasun, that's someone which is the one which is gone. Agatasun means someone who is not gone. So what is not gone and gone? Gatasun, agatasun. Gata, agata. Gata means gone, agata means not gone. What is not gone? Soon. Soon means life air. So whether the life air is there or not, you should not lament. That is the why someone should not lament. The next thing in the mind, why one should not lament for the living, because it's always living, it's eternal. Okay. And why someone should not lament for the dead? Because you don't lament for the mud, you do not lament for the stone. Why should you lament for a dead matter? A dead body is a dead matter. So there is no point lamenting either for living nor for dead. That is the message of 2.11. So we'll read 2.12 now. So why one should not lament? Again, is that because soul is eternal. And why one should not lament for the dead is because it's just matter. So no one laments for matter. Krishna explains this further just to confirm it, that if you are able to follow this, then what happens? Then you can reach the supreme realization. So he explains that in 18.54. I'll share my screen with you. Please repeat after me. ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मा
ब्रह्मभूतः
ब्रह्मभूत
Brahmabhuta
प्रसन्नात्मा
प्रसन्नात्मा
न शोचति न काङ्क्षति
न
na
शोचति न
न
shochati na
काङ्क्षति
शोचति न
kamshati
काङ्क्षति
समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु
समः
samaha
सर्वेषु
समः
sarveshu
भूतेषु
सर्वेषु
bhuteshu
भूतेषु
मद्भक्तिं लभते परम्
मद्भक्तिं
madbhakti
लभते
मद्भक्तिं
labhate
परम्
param
लभते परम्
मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम्
मद्भक्तिं
madbhakti
लभते
labhate
मद्भक्तिं
पराम्
param.
लभते परम्
So this is another thing which I wanted to highlight on today's pronunciation, which we did from 2.1 to 2.39. When you identify that you have pronounced something incorrectly, do not hesitate to pause and pronounce it again. Param and param, they change the meaning, and a can change the meaning. So proper pronunciation is equally important in order to get the right meaning. So there is a village in Orissa where people only speak Sanskrit. They don't speak anything else. So if you happen to go there and if you say instead of they will understand something else and they will reciprocate that way. So language, when we try Sanskrit, no problem. You're slow, that's okay. But the pronunciation, try to make it pitch perfect. Pause, do it again. Pause, do it again. Pause, do it. No problem. Slow, okay. And try to complete the words when you are pronouncing. Try to complete them. Do not skip. If you skip, the meaning will change as well. So if you don't say amma, just go till the end, it will change the meaning. So complete the word, and no problem if you pronounce incorrectly. Pause, go back and pronounce again. If you develop that kind of an habit, slowly you will start pronouncing it correctly. Your mind starts to read it carefully. Okay, just a quick one. Okay, I'll share my screen again. So if someone can read the translation of this verse.
One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
And you know what is pure devotional service?
He just said, "Na, that
Yes. What is pure devotional service?
जो मन से करते हैं."
Okay. What else?
So you don't lament.
Uh,
The one who neither laments nor desires, he attains pure devotional service.
Mhm.
So desire is a hankering. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And if you don't get that, then it's lamentation. I didn't get that, I didn't get that, I didn't get that, I didn't get that. So someone who doesn't do these two things and his situation is consistent and it's equipoised and is actually dealing with everyone, all the living entities in that mood, he is a good candidate to receive Krishna's pure devotional service. So what is that? I'm talking about the fruit which you can get. What is that fruit? Pure devotional service. What is that? Pure devotional service.
You
Ultimate goal, the liberation.
Okay. So we will
But
talk
we will,
about liberation later. That is not liberation. So pure devotional service is the bhakti which we talk about. The bhakti. When we say bhakti, that is something what is the goal. We should aim for that. Why? Why bhakti?
Prabhu, eternal peace.
Okay, that's a very small, uh,
One.
very small
Okay.
effect of bhakti. What is the
Prabhu,
very high effect?
Krishna Prema.
Okay,
I mean,
Krishna.
attaining Krishna Prema.
Okay, that is the ultimate form of
Aiming.
bhakti. Okay, so what is the benefit of that? What
Okay.
happens with that?
meaning as it said, you become sthita prajna, where even if you have desires and
Okay,
you're able to
that is
tolerate.
the prerequisite
Yeah.
to attain bhakti. What is bhakti? What happens with bhakti? कि इतना
Prabhu,
सब हम
complete
कर रहे हैं ना,
surrender.
वो भगवत गीता पढ़ रहे हैं, चैंटिंग कर रहे हैं, वो किसके लिए कर रहे हैं? क्या है वो?
Yeah, the ultimate goal is to reach Vaikuntha, the abode of Lord Supreme Godhead, by ensuring we chant and connect to Him always, every single
Very
second.
nice. Yes, okay. But what is that bhakti? Again, okay, I reach the abode and I do bhakti. I get the pure devotional service. लेकिन वो है क्या? My question is that. किसके लिए सब कर रहे हो?
Complete surrender.
Hmm? Okay, you surrendered and you got bhakti.
Yeah.
आपको प्योर डिवोशनल सर्विस मिल गया,
Okay.
लेकिन वो क्या होता क्या है? वो सर्विस कर रहे हैं, उसे होता क्या है? मिला क्या? We are always after something, right? मेरे को क्या मिला? What is my profit? Kalpesh,
Connecting with Lord Prabhu.
what is our profit here? Connecting with Krishna. Okay,
To move out of the death
Yeah.
and birth cycle.
To
okay.
be happy.
To move out of happy. Okay, happy.
Eternal.
How? How you will be happy?
Um,
Okay, in current situation in this material world, okay, where we are in,
huh.
how will you be happy?
Prabhu, when we are unaffected by all the modes, like we are not affected then by modes, passions, like as you
Okay,
said, we will by the anchor, so
okay.
we'll
My
be
So
bad
happy,
karma gets destroyed.
you know.
okay, I'll give you a practical. ये सब ठीक है, हम लोग बहुत किताबी बातें करते हैं, मस्त एकदम ठीक है. What I'm saying is, सारा पैसा ले लिया तुम्हारे बैंक में से, कुछ भी नहीं है अभी तुम्हारे पास, लेकिन पीस ऑफ माइंड दिया तुमको, पूरा एकदम मस्त, एकदम पीस ऑफ माइंड. स्थितप्रज्ञ हो गए तो, लेकिन खाने को पैसा नहीं है, रहने को घर नहीं है, पहने को कपड़ा नहीं है, सब ले लिया तुमसे. हैप्पी? लेकिन भक्ति पूरी मिल गई तुमको, एकदम अंदर से मन शांत है. आर यू हैप्पी विद दैट? डू यू वांट दैट? शुड आई प्रे फॉर यू? डू यू वांट
But
दैट?
Prabhuji, somebody who's in that situation where where he's in bhakti, he doesn't have desire,
वो
so
हम
he will
दूसरे
not.
का छोड़
He will
देते हैं.
be.
विल यू बी हैप्पी?
If I'm in that state, I'll also be happy. Yes.
Okay, okay, very nice. Okay, very good. So
I
Rishi
would
is
say for myself it's fine, but not for the family and
there. You
friends.
go. अभी अभी निकला बाहर धीरे धीरे. हाँ हाँ, अभी अभी रियलिटी. So reality, this is a reality check. Okay, reality check. थोड़ा reality भी check करना पड़ता है. ऐसे हम लोग को बहना नहीं है, बहते जाएंगे तो प्रॉब्लम है. बार बार चेक करना है कि is it something really you want? Is that what you want? So again, my question: what is bhakti? What are you here for? What is Krishna trying to say? Okay. The other question.
Tamsatikshasva, that word I
Okay.
remember.
Okay. Okay.
You tolerate everything, good and
Okay.
bad,
Okay. That's
everything
fine.
that comes in
That's
your
fine.
way.
Okay. I'm saying that you got pure devotional service. भक्ति मिली तुमको, लेकिन तुम्हारा फायदा क्या होता है उससे? That is my question. हाँ,
मजा
okay.
आता है.
You want happiness, you want satisfaction. ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में सेटिस्फाई हैप्पी कैसे होगे तुम? ये मेरे को बताओ. प्रैक्टिकली है.
मटेरियल में आप कहाँ पे आप सेटिस्फाई होगे?
हाँ.
You want more and more.
यस. तो कब सेटिस्फाई, कैसे सेटिस्फैक्शन मिलेगा वो?
Prabhu, when we get detached from, the results of our karma, like we are performing acts in Krishna consciousness, we are detached from everything, but we have passion for everything. But at the same time, detached. So,
Okay.
Prabhu, basically, sthit pragya, basically,
Will you be
yeah,
happy with
affected.
that? Will that make you happy? Satisfied
Prabhu,
completely
I
with the
think it's
position?
a position where you are, it's like you're least affected. Like you can be in a position where you can try to be least affected with the sorrows and happiness around you.
Is
Because
that what you
until we are
think
in this
will
world, it's very
satisfy you?
difficult.
So
Yeah.
is that what is something which will satisfy you completely in this material? कुछ भी इफेक्ट नहीं करे, होने दो जो भी होना है, मेरे को कुछ इफेक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए. I am done. Will that make you happy and satisfied?
No, Prabhu. I think it's the devotional service connection with Lord will
Okay,
satisfy
connection
you.
with Lord. तो उससे होगा क्या? मिलेगा क्या तुमको?
Yeah.
How will you be happy? Connection, will that? I mean, it's hypothetical, I know, but is that something which will make
Yeah.
you happy?
No, I think
Is that what makes you happy at the moment? एक मिनट के लिए सही. Do you get that feeling? हाँ यार, मेरे को सब मिल गया. अब मेरे को और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. Do you feel that? I don't. मेरे को और भी कुछ चाहिए.
I think by pure devotional service we'll at least get to know the self control of all indriyas and at least taking care of the mind. We are not reached. We are outstanding outside the lift right now, not got in to
Okay.
elevate
Okay.
to the level of goodness. But I feel at
Okay.
least we will be in a state where
I'll
we can.
dilute the question a little bit more. Let's forget about Sthitapragya. Let's forget about spirituality. सब छोड़ हटा दो इसको. ठीक है. अभी जो भी है तुम्हारे पास में मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में, पूरा सेटिस्फैक्शन कब मिलेगा? मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, टोटली मटेरियल,
कभी नहीं
पैसा,
मिलेगा.
बंगला, ऑल दीज थिंग्स, सब कुछ, ये सेटिस्फैक्शन कैसे मिलेगा?
नहीं मिलेगा.
नहीं मिलेगा.
हाँ, कभी नहीं प्रभु. Yeah, there's
कभी नहीं
always a
मिलेगा.
better thing than what you have.
Okay.
No, I don't think
What
material
if I tell you that full 24/7 whatever you desire वो तुम्हें मिलता रहेगा constantly. अभी तुमको पैसा चाहिए, पैसा मिल जाएगा. अभी तुमको घर चाहिए, घर मिल जाएगा. अभी तुमको कुछ और चाहिए, मिल जाएगा वो. How is that a deal in material world?
It's not a
If you
good
get
deal.
that kind of a boon, will the material life be good then?
No.
No.
I think you need
No.
to be contented, Prabhu.
In
It's not like you.
Okay.
I think
No,
you
no.
should not have
Content
greed,
I
and you should be
understand.
contented.
in
Understand.
economics there is a concept, Prabhuji, of law
Yeah.
of diminishing marginal returns.
Okay.
फर्स्ट टाइम जब कुछ
Diminishing.
मिलता है, फर्स्ट टाइम पिज्जा मिलता है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
Hmm.
सेकंड टाइम थोड़ा कम अच्छा लगता है. आफ्टर इट
Agree.
बिकम्स नॉर्मल.
I
So
agree.
same thing what you are saying,
Yeah.
that
Correct.
if you start getting everything, initially you'll be very happy, but
Okay.
eventually even that will take you to
In
dissatisfaction.
3
eventually.
months. Yeah.
Will your desires completely get over?
No.
Correct, right? Now you desire again. अब पिज्जा का मन भर गया, बर्गर का डिजायर हो गया. ठीक है, बर्गर भी मिलेगा. फिर उसके बाद तीसरा डिजायर है वो भी मिलेगा. How is that? Will that make you happy?
No.
तो फिर मटेरियल
Long
वर्ल्ड में
run
कैसे? How will you be satisfied? My question.
by
Simple.
being internally satisfied with what you have. You have to control, not control even. Naturally, you have to stop desiring from material. Start desiring something else.
Very nice, very nice. So until you stop even that desire to have something, then you can assume. Assumption पे है, हुआ नहीं है ऐसा. Correct? हम लोग सब हाइपोथेटिकल बात कर रहे हैं, रियलिटी नहीं है ये, हाँ? ऐसा हुआ नहीं है, बट वी थिंक दैट डिजायर्स ही नहीं होंगी तो फिर सेटिस्फैक्शन, ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऐसा नहीं होता है, नहीं होता। उसके बाद ये परेशानी होगी कि डिजायर क्यों नहीं है मेरे अंदर, ऐसा भी होता है।
The
am
desire for
i
desire.
am I not
So,
good enough to have desires, you know? So what
so
I'm
Prabhu,
trying to,
like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Prabhu, like, we are part and parcels of Lord Krishna, right?
See, we
So
are reading all
once
this,
we get
yes,
connected with him through
yeah,
chanting,
yeah,
obviously he'll show us the path and
very good.
he
Yes,
will
he
keep
will.
contented. That's
But
what I feel.
what are we wanting
Keep us
is we should
contented and
know
he'll
that,
show us the path.
right? What are we wanting? Don't, isn't that thing we should be aware of that?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
what is that
Prabhu.
what we want? What is
Prabhu,
that
Krishna
desire?
Prema, that's
Dharma.
Okay.
Prabhuji, for
Krishna
example,
Prema
very
only, Prabhu.
very
Simple thing. I don't
practically, I
want a
wanted to
rebirth.
ask.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yes,
don't
go ahead.
want a rebirth.
Okay.
Simple
Only
as that.
Krishna
All right.
Prema
No
and we
matter of
just want to fall in
84
love and just
different
go
yonis,
to
we don't
him.
want any 84 laksha yonis at all, at least in my case.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay.
Prabhuji,
We'll
I
come
want
to
to.
that, Chitij. We'll come to that in the next verse.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about this, that what do we want to really get satisfied? We don't know, basically. We don't know what we want to get satisfied because our desires keep changing. They keep changing. Even in Krishna consciousness, they get changing. They change. Today I want to do this, tomorrow I want to do that. Today I want Krishna Prema, tomorrow I want Radha Prema, day after tomorrow I want something else, the day after tomorrow I want something else. I want to do this, I want to only do this, I want to have this. वो भी change होता रहता है. We really don't know what do we want. So to tell you what makes you satisfy, that's why we surrender to Krishna. We don't know that. So ultimately, when we, it's a pure devotional service. You get my service, you get my shelter. Krishna says that you will come to know exactly what you want and what makes you satisfied, and you will get that. And having said that, as per the pastimes of Krishna, Krishna is controlled by his pure devotion. So Krishna controls the whole universe, everything. And who controls Krishna?
Pure devotee.
Pure devotional service controls him. So he's giving you his remote. He's saying that I will give you my remote control to you. You can control me. That is pure devotional service. And that is the reason why Radha is above Krishna, because she is a pure devotee of Krishna. So Krishna is saying that if you can transform yourself into that pure transcendental state where you do not have lamentation and hankering, desires or lamentation, if you are not having that thing, and then you are eligible for the pure devotional service. The most powerful thing which you can get is that. Does it make sense?
Hmm.
At the moment we get controlled by our mind, right? And mind gets controlled sometimes by our senses, by outer facts and all those kind of things. But ultimately the controller is Krishna. But what if we get the remote control to control Krishna? That is bhakti, pure devotional service. And that is what Krishna is giving us, or telling us he will give it to us if we have these prerequisites. Yeah. Okay. So that is 2.11. That if you do that, if you are that if you are not having that kind of lamentation or desires of that sort, if you reach that state, then you are eligible for my pure devotional service. That is 18.54. Now we'll read 2.12. Understood? 2.11 very clearly?
Prabhuji, one question.
Yes, yes.
So, if you are eligible for um this, bhakti,
Yes.
desiring that bhakti, that is also a desire. No? Is it not a desire? You're saying,
Yes.
firstly, we're saying,
Yes. Yes.
hankering and
Correct.
desire should not be there.
Correct. That should be the only desire we should have. That's what Krishna is recommending. That is the real desire.
So, it is similar to what we one time discussed about disconnecting from the material world and connecting to Krishna. You're not saying disconnect with everything, saying disconnect but also reconnect to something.
That will be
Same thing.
explained further in Bhagavad Gita. That how you can actually practice bhakti. How the practice of bhakti is done will be explained further.
Okay.
That's an advanced understanding of that. But as of now, yes, that is the purest or the best of desires you can have to serve Krishna, to get his pure devotional service. But the intention for that should not be controlling Krishna. You get it as an additional benefit. But the intention should be to serve Krishna, not to control him. You get it as an add-on. Add-on purchase आता ना ऐप के अंदर वो फ्री में मिलता है. But you should not only aim for that. Otherwise, bhakti may not be possible. And the reason why is because Krishna is sitting right in your heart. So he knows your intention also. So it's not just the desire, it's the intention behind the desire also is known to Krishna. As to why are you desiring it? Does it make sense, Rishi?
Yeah.
So desire to get the control of Krishna, he will know that you are trying to do that. You want that. Your intention is that. And you may not be eligible then. So the desire has to be only the service of Krishna without having any other desires.
So practically, how do we see this?
Yeah, we will see that. We
Okay.
will see how it is done. We will see how. So there are, just to give you a brief, there are 9 different types of bhakti processes. So it starts with Shravanam, Kirtanam. Then there is Smaranam. So Shravan means listening about Krishna. Kirtanam is chanting the names of Krishna. Then there is Smaranam. Smaranam is thinking about Krishna. And there is Archanam, which is like doing the deity worship. Vandanam, glorifying Krishna. Padasevanam, serving the lotus feet of Krishna. So there are 9 different processes. You can choose what you like. Now the choice is also based on your nature. Yeah, your intention and competence also. Just like the material world, yeah. Similar to that. So the process which like you go for a job, you work. You may have very good understanding of something, but you may not be competent to do that. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So in material world, it's a competence which takes precedence over your intention. But in bhakti, you pick up a process based on your competence, but then the intention drives you. Is it getting too complicated?
No. Absolutely clear.
So when you work in your company or in your corporate or your jobs, Whatever motivation you have, they don't care. Your competence is the main key, your skill set. Whether you have a motivation to rob the company, they don't care about that. Yeah.
Yep.
But your skill set and competence should be good. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you choose the process of bhakti based on these factors, but we will discuss later. Okay. Now, so 2.11 is very clear. Do not lament. If you desire or if you hanker or you lament, you are not eligible for the devotional service of the Lord. 2.12. So if Krishna further continues on why you should not lament, he explains it further in 2.12 to Arjuna. So please repeat after me. He says, Natve vaham jatu nasham.
Natve
Natve vaham jatu nasam.
Natve vaham jatu nasam.
Natvam neme janadhipaha.
Natvam
Natvam
neme janadipa
janadipa.
Natvam neme janadipa.
Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha.
न
nachaiva
चैव न
न
भविष्यामः
भविष्यामः
Sarve vayamataha param.
sarve
सर्वे
सर्वे
वयम्
Sarve
अतः
वयमतः
परम्
vayam.
परम्.
Can someone read the translation, please?
Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
What he says? Natve vaham jatu nasham. Says there was never a time when I did not exist. First he says that. Natve vaham jatu nasham. So I was always there. What does that mean?
It is
I am
eternal.
eternal. He's eternal.
He is eternal. Yeah.
Next. Natvam neme janadhipa. Neither you, neither these janadhipa. What is janadhipa? So janadhipa word comes from two words, jana and adhipatya. You know what is adhipatya?
Kings. Kings, Brahma.
Yeah.
Then
Adhipatya means
Ruling.
Husband or ruler,
rule.
pati.
Adhipatya means rule. So someone who is ruling or
rule, yeah.
is called adhipati. So jana adhipa. So the ones who's ruling the praja, jana, is
Ruler,
called king.
yes.
So he said natvam. Tvam means you. So there was never a time when I was not present, you were not present, neither
Everyone.
these kings were not present. So they were always there. What does that mean to you?
Soul is eternal.
The soul,
Very good.
Everyone
Very
the
is
good.
soul,
soul, and they were there before, today, and they will
they will
remain.
always exist
Okay. So soul is eternal.
forever.
Very nice. What else
Yes.
apart from that?
Eternal and individual.
Very good. Individual. So we are individuals and will be always individuals.
Mhm.
Everyone is an individual and it's going to be an individual. अभी जो रिलेटिव्स हैं वो अगले जन्म में शायद नहीं होंगे, अभी जो फ्रेंड्स हैं अगले जन्म में शायद वो नहीं होंगे, लेकिन यू विल बी इंडिविजुअल, यूनिक, हमेशा रहोगे. What does this also refute is the impersonal Brahman and the Mayavad philosophy. Do you know what is that?
No.
You know what is Mayavad philosophy?
Dvait, Advait, and Achintya Bheda Bhed. We will
Very
discuss
good.
this.
Yeah. So what is the Mayavad philosophy is that we are the drop from the ocean. God is the ocean. And he does not have any form. Like the soul does not have any form. That's what they say. And when you come out of the circle of life and death, you are liberated and you go and merge with that impersonal Brahma. So you lose your individuality, which is completely opposite to what Krishna is saying. So if you lose your spiritual existence and go and merge into the impersonal Brahma, which is the ocean, there is no point you will be having your individuality. You will exist, but not as an individual. So that is refuted. So this is the proper understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is refuting Mayavad philosophy. But there are many philosophers of Mayavad or impersonal and Brahma kind of a realization where they come up and say that Bhagavad Gita, and they interpret Bhagavad Gita as per their own philosophy, which is refuted by Krishna. So that is the reason we recommend that you read and hear from the proper source, from a devotee of Krishna, not from anyone and everyone. It may be difficult for you to understand the actual essence of Bhagavad Gita. So if at all someone is, you come into a circle where you are hearing about Bhagavad Gita and someone is preaching or if you are not convinced, or if you think that the individuality of the soul is being sacrificed, there are just 2 or 3 questions you need to ask anyone, and that will clarify completely that where is that person coming from. Whether is he talking about Mayavad philosophy, or is he talking about the Bhakti Yoga, the actual devotional service of Krishna, which is written in Bhagavad Gita. That will make you crystal clear and you'll be able to refute that person straight away. It's happened with me many times. Many times. Come across so many people who try to challenge on this platform, but it's just 3 questions and that's it. That's Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is very clear cut definition of how and from whom we should be hearing and from whom we should be reading, from where we should understand Bhagavad Gita. First question: who is God? To anyone who's trying to preach or say anything, and you're not agreeing, you're not convinced of what he's saying, the first question is, who's God, or what is your conception of God? So what happened once was, there was a Chaturvedi Brahman. You know what is a Chaturvedi, right?
4 Vedas, yes.
Very
Yeah.
good. We have discussed this, right? The
Yes.
Chaturvedi
Yes, read
surname
for
is
Vedas.
coming from the Chaturvedi who has read 4 Vedas. Trivedi, someone who has read 3 Vedas. Dvivedi, do Vedas. Dube,
Exactly.
do Vedas. 2, 3, 4. ऐसा. This is how the categories of Brahman. ऐसा होता है. Agnihotri, the one who lights up the fire of the Agni, the Agnihotra of the Yajna. Agnihotri. Anyways, Goswami. Goswami क्या करता है?
Cow herding.
No, go also means senses, Rishi.
Oh, okay.
Control, yeah,
Yeah.
controls.
So someone who is the who has mastered his own senses. He has the Indriya. He
Goswami.
is he's called Goswami. Someone who has, you know, controlled his senses. The senses go according to him. Okay. So so the Chaturvedi Brahman, he was very intellectual, very philosophical, but he had the concept of Mayavad. So he was discussing with Srila Prabhupada back in 70s. So Srila Prabhupada didn't say anything to him. He just asked him, who's God? He said, well, it is like this. He started explaining, referring to the Vedas and this and that. He said, no, it is not that complicated. I've just asked you one single question. What is the concept of God? Who's God? Can you tell me? He said, yes, I can tell, but I have to elaborate on something. He said, no elaboration required. Just one. So he immediately called a son of his disciple, a little boy. He just called him. He said, wait, I'll call him. He called him, come here. He said, you tell me who is God and I will give you one laddu. If you tell me who is God. And that little boy, without any hesitation, he says, Bhagavad Gita, it says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Krishna is God. Simple. No confusion. He said, okay, you take this laddu and go. So he said, it's not that difficult. It's not complicated. So if Bhagavad Gita says Krishna is Bhagavan, is the supreme personality of Godhead, we have to accept it. There is no debate over it. Number one question. Number two, what is the goal of life? That's the next question we should ask anyone. So what is the goal of life?
Attain moksha.
To go back to Godhead again.
To perform pure devotional service.
Perform. Okay, three different answers. All right. So what is moksha, Kalpesh?
Um, no more life and death.
Okay. So what happens to the soul after that?
It merges with Krishna.
It merges with Krishna. Okay. So that means if it merges, then
So
we
basically,
lose our individuality.
correct. Yeah,
Correct?
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So, but Krishna does not say that in 2.12. He says that there was never a time when I did not exist, neither you did not exist as a separate individual. So even after moksha, you are an individual. So what is the
Yes.
goal of life?
To serve Lord Krishna, Prabhu.
So where does this concept come from? To serve Lord Krishna.
We are eternal servitor by nature.
Okay, very nice.
We like to
Yes,
serve every
yes, very good.
times.
Yes. And where do we have a reference of this from the Shastra? So it is said that
It says
Jivera Swarupoya Nitya Krishna Das.
Nitya
The
Krishna
actual
Das. That's
Swarupa, the real nature of a soul is to be the servant of Krishna. And that is the satisfaction. Actually, we serve our senses, we serve others, we serve our family, we serve our friends, we serve our company to get satisfaction. But the ultimate satisfaction is to serve Krishna. Does that clarify? So what happens after moksha? What happens to the soul after the liberation is the ultimate thing which can happen to the soul is to serve Krishna. Does it make sense, Kalpesh?
Yeah.
So what is liberation? Liberation is coming out of the cycle of birth and death. Yes. But what happens after liberation is the important fact. That's what Krishna says, that you stay as an individual. Okay. Now, where do you actually go and serve Krishna? He explains in Bhagavad Gita. I'll share my screen.
Vaikuntha Loka, Prabhu.
Yeah. So we will understand where is it. So please repeat after me. This is the verse in Bhagavad Gita. न तद्भाषयते सूर्यो
न tat
न
भास्यते
तद्भाष्यते
तद्भाष्यते
सूर्यो
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 न
न
शशाङ्को
शशाङ्को
न
न
पावकः
न
न शशाङ्को
शशाङ्को
न
न
पावकः
पावकः
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
yat
यद्गत्वा
यद्गत्वा
न
न
निवर्तन्ते
निवर्तन्ते
यद्गत्वनानिवर्तन्ते
तद्धाम परमं मम.
तद्धाम परमं
तद्धाम
मम.
परमं मम.
So he says that supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon. Na Shashanka, the moon, na Surya. So Surya is the sun, Shashanka means the moon. Neither fire or electricity, Pavakaha. It's not illumined by sun or moon, nor by the fire or electricity. Yad gatva na nivartante. Those who reach it never return to this material world. That is my Paramam Dham. Okay? So Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita directly. So there is no ambiguity in understanding. So that is the real position of the soul after liberation. What else does Krishna says in 2.12? Nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamatah param. There was no time when I was not there. There was no time when you were not there. Neither these kings were not there. Neither in the future there will be any time when any one of us will not be there. There will be never such time. So does that mean when he says that he and we will not, does it mean that Krishna is identical to what we are, living entities? No. The
Um,
Katha Upanishad
Prabhu, in
explains it.
quality, yes. Yeah. Okay. Prabhu,
So
in quality, I think we are, but not in quantity.
yeah, yeah. So
Right.
Katha Upanishad explains it very clearly. So this is the verse I'll share. It's in the purport. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidyati kaman tamatma sthamanye nupashyanti dhiras tesham santi shashwati netaresham. It says that among the all living entities there is one living entity who is the controller of everyone, and that is Lord Sri Krishna. So we have to refer to various scriptures to understand our position and the position of Krishna. Okay, so that is 2.12.
Prabhuji, question.
Yes, yes.
So if our goal is to serve Krishna and go to the Param Dham, why are
If
we
our
here?
goal should be, yes, yeah,
Should be, yes.
yeah,
But
yeah.
why are we here? Like, shouldn't we all be there? Why
Because
this
our goal
entire?
is not that. That is why we are here.
No, but
It should be, but it's not that.
We have expressed a lot of desires. That's why Lord has sent us to the material world to fulfill those desires.
how we know
See,
this though?
expressing of a desire is not possible. Desire has to be there or not. There is no expression of desire. Desire's expression is action. You do it. But desire is something which you have inside. Yes. How will you express your desire? You'll go in front of the deities and say, yes, you say that. But do you really have the desire, or you are saying it just for the sake of saying it? That you only know. Individual only knows.
Mhm.
How can we tell? How can someone tell? So Krishna explains. Sorry, Vedavyas explains. Vedavyas Muni. He explains in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first verse, Janmadhyasya yato anvaya dhitaratascha swarat. So he says that Krishna is conscious directly or indirectly of everyone, but we are not even conscious about our own selves. We are trying to understand our own selves, whereas Krishna is conscious of everyone. We don't even know what our desires are. So we have to find out whether our real desire is to serve Krishna, or my desire is to enjoy only in this material world. What is my real desire? And if your actual desire is to serve Krishna truly from inside, although you may be working externally in a different way, Krishna understands that and he helps you pave your way towards him. It happens with the devotees. So the reason why we are here is because we have various desires. We do not have the pure desire of serving Krishna. If we have that, slowly we will reach him.
No, but my question is, eventually, if the desire is there, we would want to reach back to him.
Yes,
Correct?
yes.
So, in the first instance, why the soul has fallen from that Vaikuntha to this
No,
material
yad
world?
gatva na nirvartante. Once it reaches his paramam dham, it's a param dham, it doesn't come back.
Okay, okay. But in the introduction, there was a mention of
Yeah.
something related to, we've all come, we were all part of him, and then we've come into the material world.
Yes. So we have never had the opportunity to go and completely serve. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that this material world is only the 1/4 of the whole creation.
Yeah.
3/4 of the creation is spiritual. So we are in that 1/4 part. So it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam further is that just like how you have a hospital and a jail within a town and a city, similarly the material world is like that jail or an hospital within that town. The town consists of a normal place to live, but hospital or a jail is a place not to be there for all the time. That's where we are in material world. So it's 1/4 of the whole creation. That's how it
Okay.
is explained. So you may get good food, so you can get good food in hospital also. So if you go to an Aussie hospital and stay there for 3 days, you'll get 5-star food. But that doesn't mean that you will stay there for longer for the food. Yeah. The idea is to go back out of hospital. So if there is a strong desire to serve Krishna and come out of this material world, Krishna will help. Does that answer your
Prabhu,
question, Rishi?
Yes, yes, I understand where I am.
Oh yes, we all are. We all are.
in the jail, you
Not
and
just you.
Prabhu, all
We
in
all
the
are.
same boat,
We all are there.
trying to get out.
And you know who is
Anil
the
Prabhu,
jailer? Jail is called Durg
Durga.
in Sanskrit.
Durga
And the
Mata.
jailer is Durga.
Mm. With that Trishul Prabhu, she keeps poking. Mode of ignorance, power, and goodness.
Any other questions?
uh,
Comments?
Prabhu, yeah, Prabhu, can I leave? I have to go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
another
please.
program.
Please, please. Haribol.
Okay, thank you.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
everyone. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Yeah,
Great.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, you said three questions. You've
Yeah.
only spoken
Yes.
about two, I think.
Yeah. So if someone is not able to answer the second one very clearly, that what is the goal of life? So then you have to be very clear to bring up the third question, saying that what happens after liberation, after the cycle of birth and death. So if someone is not able to answer the goal of life, he gives complicated answers. He says something, he beats around the bush. So to bring him back to the main point, question is that what happens after liberation? Tell us that. After the cycle of birth and death, clearly tell us what happens after that. So if someone is able to understand and maintain the individuality of the soul, that means he has understood Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, it's hard to justify that. Because there are many, orange clothes sannyasis you'll find who will start speaking about Bhagavad Gita straight away. But the moment you ask these questions, you will know for sure whether they have crossed 2.12 verse or not. If they have not, no point listening to them. 2.12 is a very important verse. Very important verse. It refutes Mayavad, because if someone is reading the Bhagavad Gita only till then, he can be a Mayavadi or a Vaishnava. We don't know. He can be a devotee or anyone. But if he goes beyond 2.12 and understands it further, the path is very clear. 2.12 is that very critical verse. So you should know this very clearly, that we are eternal and we are unique and individuals. We do not merge into anything. We have our individuality. Because that is called spiritual suicide. If you merge into something, you lose the spirit, you lose your individuality, you're gone. That's it. Krishna says you're eternal, always there. How can you lose your own self? How can you merge into something else? No, it just can't happen. That's refuted by Krishna. Okay?
Prabhuji, what is Vaishnav definition?
Vaishnava is someone who is the devotee of Vishnu. It's called Vaishnava. Shaiva is someone who's a devotee of Shiva.
So we say Krishna is also a Vishnu avatar, no? Like,
Okay. So it is the same. It's a tattva. So the element like Shiva is the destructing element. The nature of Shiva is to destroy. Brahma is the creator and Vishnu is to maintain. So the tattva is to maintain. So is the tattva of Krishna, to maintain everyone. Okay, that's why they are the supreme gods. So Krishna at work is Vishnu. Krishna at play is Krishna.
okay.
So you will not see Krishna working. You will always see him playing with his friends, eating butter, enjoying, relaxing, going around, playing flute. No work. But if you see Vishnu's avatar, you will see Gada, Conch, all these things, action. He's ready to work, with full formal attire. That's the difference. Otherwise, the tattva is the same.
Okay.
The nature is the same. Does it answer your question?
So does it mean when if Krishna is with the Sudarshan Chakra and Raudra Roop, then he's
Yeah.
actually Shiva?
With the Raudra Roop.
Like, for example, Narasimha.
So
So
Narasimha
that is also destruction.
Narasimha is not Shiva, or Narasimha is the avatar taken for a purpose and went back.
Okay.
So there are many avatars like that. So you have Matsya avatar, you have Varaha avatar, Vamana avatar, the Dasha avatar. So there are 10 avatars which took place, of Vishnu. So these avatars are for specific purpose and they go. But Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That is not an avatar. It's Krishna himself. So in Srimad Bhagavatam it says that, I'll share that verse with you to clarify. So I'll share my screen. Just open that verse. So it says, Ete cham shakalaha pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. So it says that all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists or the believers. And then he goes back. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. That's why this Bhagavad Purana says very clearly, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is not an avatar. He himself is God.
Hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So
It ties
everything
back to.
comes from Krishna.
Hmm.
And Brahma confirms that again in Brahma Samhita. I'll share that verse also with you.